It's Wolf. Oh my god, voice crack. It's Wolf, and it's a really late live stream. Um, I know that currently you guys are seeing the Black Ops 2 install screen, but I figured I might as well just go ahead and start the stream while this is installing anyway, so that way I can kind of do the intro, make sure everything's working, um, you know, all that usual stuff. Check my audio levels real quick. Yes. Okay, everything is working. Also, I don't know why my nose is stuffed. This happens every time I stream. Um yeah, so this is actually this is installing right now because as you'll see shortly, this is actually the German version of the game. I've told this story before, but I don't think I've told it for a while, so I might as well go ahead and reiterate while this is downloading updates. Um, so I got this by accident, and I actually am still a little bit annoyed about that. So, as most of my interesting recent stories start, when I was in the UK for grad school, um, I managed to find a really cheap flight to Majorca in Spain. It's an island in Spain. It's probably like you guys have probably heard of Ibiza more. Majorca is like a bigger sister island to Ibiza. They're both part of the Balearic Islands along with some other ones. And Majorca, Ibiza is kind of smaller and like I think a little bit more focused on like nightlife, whereas Majorca is like an actual like kind of normal place to live. There's like a full actual city on it called Palma. And so anyway, I found a cheap flight to Majorca. I wanted to go there because I found out that there was video game stores there and that there was also music stores there and stuff. Wanted to go just check out somewhere else because I had the opportunity to. So went to Spain, went to Majorca, stayed for 2 nights. I think I was in Spain for a total of like 36 hours. I was not there for very long, but I did a lot while I was there. And one of the things that I did was I went to CEX because alongside having that in England, they also have that in Spain and a handful of other countries. And while I was one of the games that I picked up there was Black Ops 2 because I was like, it'll be cool. Like I'm in Spain, like I kind of know Spanish a little bit, even though I know like Latin American Spanish more than Spain Spanish, but whatever. But I was like, I should get some games that are in Spanish. It'd be cool. So this is one of the games that I got because I was like, I still play Black Ops 2 like a lot, even though it's pretty old because I really like playing zombies mode in it. And so I went and I bought it and sure enough, like, and I thought something was a little off with the disc because I noticed that it had, like, I think Germany has their own age rating system or something. I just noticed that the disc seemed like there was stuff that indicated like Germany more so than Spain, but I didn't really think anything of it because I was like, whatever, they probably didn't screw that up. Well, sure enough, I got back to the UK and went to play it and turns out it's in German, not in oh, hang on. Need to turn that down. Turns out it's in German, not in Spanish, which really, really annoyed me because, like, unlike most situations, I couldn't just go back to the store because it was, a 2 hour flight away or whatever. Um, so yeah, I just ended up kind of stuck with it. Um, something Oh, dang. I wasn't sure if it was going to do that or not. Crap. Okay, so hang on. I have to turn the PS3 on and off again. I thought that the German version of this game didn't do this, but it freezes up if you're signed into PlayStation Network and like you've changed your name. So I gotta restart my PlayStation really quickly. I know I've already been streaming for like 5 minutes and you guys haven't seen anything, but yeah, so that's the story of how I ended up with a German copy of Black Ops 2 despite wanting a Spanish copy. Maybe it's an Austrian copy, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are having an alright night. I know that I'm streaming very late. It's like past midnight where I am. um it's one of those things though where sometimes it's hard to find, like, I've been wanting to do a stream and I just didn't get to it recently. And then today I was like, you know what? I am determined to do a live stream today. Um, So, okay, yeah, now it wants to do the system check thing. Uh, so yeah, I was like, I'm gonna do a live stream today, and then now it's like midnight, and I'm doing a live stream. um, but yeah, I haven't really made that many videos lately, and I wanted to make something, so I was like, I'll play some Black Ops 2 Zombies, and I'll talk for a little while. I don't really think this stream is gonna be very long, like maybe half an hour at most. We'll see how playing Black Ops 2 goes. Um, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to do a stream. Speaking of streams and stuff, though, in the future, my girlfriend and I were talking a little bit again about trying to possibly do a stream with her on it as well, which would be really cool. Okay, cool. We are back. PlayStation is. Oh wait, hang on. I need to unplug the Ethernet cord. Give me 1 second, because the way that the sign-in thing is on PS3. God, I'm glad I know all the workarounds for this console. The way that the sign-in works on PS3 now, since it's like not actually like, since you have to do like two-factor authentication thing, you have to like sign in on a weird way on PS3s now. If any of you guys own a PS3 and still play it, you probably know what I mean, but you have to like sign in on Sony's website and then get like a one-time password thing. And so like it's easiest to let yourself auto sign in, but that can screw up things like this with like being logged in. Okay, cool. I think I unplugged the Ethernet cord in time, so we should be good to go. Let me turn the screen back on here. Oh, what a great screen to turn back onto. So ooh, synchronous. It's so funny to see this in German. Oh jeez, I don't even have the oh god. Hellite. I want oh god, I don't know what any of these words mean. I'll leave it on Treyarch Mix. Sure. Oh god, I don't know what any of these words mean. Like, you know, there's a lot of languages that like I can kind of figure out knowing English and Spanish pretty well already, but like I don't know what any of these words mean. I almost played tonight the Japanese copy of Black Ops 1 that I have, but I specifically wanted to play zombies, and I'm not that good at zombies on Black Ops 1, so this is why we were in German Black Ops 2. I actually found the English copy of Black Ops 2 that I have before I found the German copy, and then shortly after found the German copy. So anyway, what I was saying was, I was thinking about trying to do like a test on this stream about audio stuff, but I don't really think it'll work the way I want it to, so maybe not. But what is this? What button? I don't know. I've forgotten what the menus mean. This seems right, I think. Maybe not. Okay. Yes. We need a spiel start. So, oh god, I keep losing track of what I'm trying to say. So, what my girlfriend and I were talking about doing another stream sometime and actually having her voice on the stream, which would be cool. I did a stream like quite a while ago where I played, I think it was Call of Duty 4, and she was on that, but like we didn't have it set up for her voice chat, so like I wasn't actually talking to her during the stream or anything. And we couldn't really talk during you guys couldn't hear her voice, and like I couldn't hear her voice either. She was just kind of like there. But I've got a few ideas on how it could work for both of us, like for you to be able to hear both of our voices. I don't think it'd be that hard to set up, but I just haven't really gotten to mess around with it yet. You guys wouldn't be able to see her screen though, because she doesn't have like a screen recording set up. She doesn't do YouTube either anyway, so at least not currently. I don't really know if that's her social media anyway. But and also speaking of my girlfriend, I know that she likes to watch my streams as like a podcast sometimes. So if you are watching, I love you. um, but yeah, so that's something cool that might be on the horizon eventually. Once me and her like have some time to like play some video games together and get a stream all set up and everything for that. Um, she's wonderful. She's very funny. You guys would very much enjoy the banter between us, I think. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of other stuff on the way. I've made a lot of Club Penguin videos lately, so I know that kind of like if you hear from Club Penguin videos, I know it might be weird to see me playing Black Ops 2. Um, but yeah, I made like a bunch of tutorials again for Waddle Forever, and I'm aware that a lot of them were kind of repeats of the stuff that I made for CPSC, but I just kind of figured since it is technically a different program, and it does work a little bit different for some things, that I would just make a whole new set of tutorials. So I did that, and I didn't plan on making any more tutorials for Waddle Forever because I thought that I had covered everything I wanted to cover, but I may actually end up making like a couple more because there's a couple of video ideas that I have. Well, for one, there was a comment that asked me about how to like enable clothing in Waddle Forever, which excuse me, I think there's like a setting for that when you why I could have sworn that. Oh wait, are we already in round two? Um oh my god. I could have sworn that there was like an option for that when you go to download Waddle Forever, at least on Windows. Um, and on Linux, I know that there's an option that pops up when you hit something in one of the options menus for clothing, and so it downloads the clothing. But I think to actually use the clothing, aside from the stuff you can buy just out of the catalog, you have to use a command. And I think I actually misguided in the reply that I gave to that comment because I think you said you use the AC command. Actually, that's the command for adding coins to your account. The actual command for adding clothing in Waddle Forever is probably AI, which exclamation point AI. That's what it always was on private servers and stuff to add clothing and things. Um, Commands do seem to, I didn't think commands worked in Waddle Forever at first, but then now that I've messed around with it, I think they do actually work. The only thing is that it doesn't actually give you like feedback that a command has worked. So like I was messing around with the AC command, and I noticed that it didn't like tell you that it added coins, but it does actually add coins to your player and stuff. So I think something similar occurs with clothing items and stuff. But anyway, that's one possible future video relating to Waddle Forever. Another one is I might actually do another one with like about mods, because I know I kind of covered most of the modding stuff that I could think of with Waddle Forever, but something that I didn't cover that might be worth a separate video is music mods. I think I know how to make those. So that would allow you to like replace some of the songs in the game. I know that there were private servers before that had that function with like room like igloo music, and you could do there was one that had like a rap song. It was like kind of silly, but it had like a rap song for possible igloo music. So which I hope to God anybody watching the stream has watched my other videos and knows what I'm talking about, because otherwise that would be really weird to hear me talking about Club Penguin stuff while I'm playing zombies. Anyway, so there's that, and then there's another video idea too that isn't really a tutorial but kind of a proof of concept. So I mentioned on Twitter that I actually managed to put Waddle Forever onto a DVD. Waddle Forever is so well self-contained that in not too big that you actually can like just straight up copy and paste the whole thing onto a DVD. And I tested it out. I literally copy and pasted everything onto a DVD. And then I moved that DVD to another computer, and it booted up just fine. And I was actually genuinely shocked that that worked. I was thinking that there was going to be some sort of thing that would not. Okay, that would not transfer over. But no, it worked seemingly perfectly. So I'd like to make a video about that. And it's not really exactly going to be a tutorial because it's kind of a very specific thing that I don't really know if people would like use. But I do think that it's cool and worth a video because I don't think anybody else has done that. Um, and then in terms of Club Penguin stuff, I thought that that was going to be all the Club Penguin videos I was going to have for a while, but then I also realized that I I was not sure if I wanted to say it or just like say it ahead of time or just make the videos about it. But CPPS Creator is still up and running and still works, which very similarly to CPPS.me is surprising, um, because I'm almost certain that it has been DMCA'd or whatever before. But yeah, somehow CPPS Creator is still up and running, and I've gotten a lot of comments whenever I've made videos about CPSC or Waddle Forever, where people have asked me about how do I make an actual private server. And I still am of the opinion that private servers in general are not really the best way to play Club Penguin anymore because there's a lot of issues with them. But, oh, hang on, I have to sneeze. But, um, but like CPPS Creator is not a bad way to make like a small server if you just want to play with some friends or whatever. So I might do some tutorials relating to that, but I'm still not sure, and I don't really know when those would be done by. Um, in general, I've been doing a lot of kind of catching up with myself lately in terms of just like media in video games and stuff. I feel like I had kind of started like reading and watching like a whole bunch of different things, and so I've been trying to sort of finish watching and reading all that type of stuff because I'm somebody who like I really don't like. There's not much in a book or like a TV series or whatever that will make me stop watching it. So like usually whenever I start watching something, I will finish watching it. But sometimes like I end up finding myself like starting too many things and then not really like finishing watching them, and it kind of stresses me out because I don't have very much brain power. Um, and so I'd kind of done that again, where there was like a handful of shows that I had started watching and like a couple books and stuff that I had started reading. So I've been working on trying to finish watching those and all that stuff. Finish there's a book that I've been reading for like a while on and off that I really want to finish reading. It's called Julian Comstock. I actually bought it like a long time ago. I bought it when I was in grad school. I think right near the end of grad school because I was like, cool, I can read this on the flight back to the U.S. Um, and I think I did, but I'm really not that far into it. I'm only like a sixth of the way through it because it keeps being where like I'll read some of it and then like not read it for like 3 months. But it's a cool book. It's about like it's one of these like God, I'm gonna use such a big word here, but like a regressive futuristic tale. Um, and what I mean by that is like it takes place in the future, but it's like one of these futures that has gone backwards in terms of technology and stuff. So I don't remember what year it actually takes place in, but it's supposed to be in the future, but like they live almost like the 1800s, I guess, is kind of the closest comparison. It's not really like a future western, but it's like kind of like that, I guess. It's got aspects of like that sort of time period. Um, but yeah, it's a really cool book, and I've enjoyed reading it. But I just keep like getting distracted with other things to finish reading it. Oh, cool. That's not at all what I wanted. Um, I also have bought a lot of movies and TV shows and stuff lately. I found out about a movie recently that was something I didn't even know existed. It was called How I Live Now. It has Saoirse Ronan in it, which, I mean, I'm not really somebody who like watches movies specifically because of like which actors are in them, but like I've heard of her before. Like I know she's pretty famous, and so I was surprised that I just never heard of this movie before. And it's a movie. It's like about this like girl from the U.S. who ends up getting sent to live with like some of her relatives that live um, in England, I think, or maybe Scotland, but I think it's England. But then like a war breaks out or something, and so it's about that. And I think it's like partially a love movie too, but um, being an American who spent a while in England, I kind of am always interested whenever I see movies and books and stuff about Americans that have found themselves in the UK, and especially too because that one's like a like kind of an apocalypse movie, and it sounds like one of those ones that actually shows you like the apocalypse happening, like it starts before it and kind of shows you the process, which I think is always kind of cool. Oh my god. The weather has not been agreeing with me lately. Luckily, it has started to warm up where I live because I live in the south, and so we don't really get that much winter. But we have gotten a pretty cold and dry winter this year. And cold and dry weather does not agree with me. I get, actually, right now, even my hands hurt quite a bit because they're very dry from the weather. And yeah, I've had like a cough for a while. I got pretty sick around Black Friday. I think I've mentioned it before, but yeah, I went Black Friday shopping, and then I ended up feeling like not very good later in the day, and then like I really didn't feel that bad at any given point. But I like just like this is gonna sound gross, but I just my nose was stuffed up with like tons of snot for like a week and a half straight, and then I had a little bit of a cough from it, and then I actually went to my doctor, and my doctor thought I might have like had like a mild case of bronchitis, and so I got some medicine for that, and so then the cough mostly went away, but it's like still kind of there, but it hasn't gotten any worse. Like if it's not bad, but it's like specifically whenever I go outside and stuff because it's so dry. Like and like I've kind of always dealt with things like this. If I remember right, when I was in the UK, I had almost the same thing happen like shortly after I arrived there, where I got really sick. And then I like felt better, but I just had this like persistent cough for like a really long time afterwards until it warmed up. So thank goodness it is finally warming up because I do not like cold weather at all. I feel like I had some more talking points. I've got to start writing these things down because like the channel is still not large enough for people to always tune in during the streams to like ask questions and like have a conversation with. But I also have so many things to say all of the time, and then I actually start streaming and I forget about what I was going to say. Um, Speaking of streaming though, it's kind of it's tough sometimes to figure out like when to stream because like I definitely knew like I was like I'm gonna be stubborn. I'm going to do a live stream today. Um, and so now I am, but it's also past midnight, and it's like, well, if I'm streaming right now, how much of an audience do I really have? Because like my channel's in English, and I'm based in the U.S., but most people in the U.S. are probably asleep right now. Um, and then like Europe, it's still not like prime like video consumption time in Europe either because it's like early in the day. So like that kind of leaves like Asia and Oceania, I guess, and Africa too. But I don't really know how many people from Africa watch my stuff. But I know that I have viewers in like Asia and Australia, I think, and New Zealand too. But it's like I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, well, who's actually like awake right now to actually watch this stuff? I've noticed before. That's why like sometimes streamers from like Europe will stream at really weird hours because they're trying to like maximize like their audience. It's like if I remember right, like Joel from Vine Sauce and Lime Malicious from Vine Sauce, they're both from Europe. Joel's from like Sweden, and Limes is from the UK actually, even though she doesn't really sound like it. Um, but from what I understand, they both stream like specifically with an American audience in mind because that's where a large portion of their audience is from. Which must be especially a little bit odd for Joel, given that like Limes is streaming in English, which is like the native language of the UK also and the US. But for Joel, that must be kind of weird, given that like I mean I think a lot of Swedish people speak English, but it's not like the actual local language. I guess it'd be like if I was streaming in Spanish, because like that's not really the primary language of the U.S. Although there's large Spanish speaking population here. Um, in general, though, it's been a little bit tough to find time to make stuff, which I know I say literally every time I do a stream or whatever. But I think it's been better compared to last year. Last year, I just had so many things to do after getting back to the U.S. from the U.K. that I needed to catch up on, like doctor's appointments and family members to visit and like all sorts of stuff that I needed to do, and that took up a lot of time. I feel like now I've kind of settled into a little bit of a more consistent schedule, but it's still not perfectly consistent, so it's kind of hard to find time to do stuff sometimes. Um, I do have some ideas though that I think would be cool. I just don't know if I'll ever really be able to implement them. But one thing I've been thinking is like I've got a really big game collection, I've talked about it before. I own like 200 PS3 games or something ridiculous like that. I have almost every single console. Like I just own a lot of gaming stuff, and I thought it could be really cool to do like a game roulette thing because I know that that's sort of a popular thing that I've seen other people do, where they'll like spin a wheel and then play whatever game the wheel lands on. And I wouldn't pick like multiple games like some people do, but I think it'd be cool to like. I'm gonna have to sneeze again. I think it'd be cool to like do like spin the wheel once to get what console I was gonna play, and then spin the wheel again to get like what game I was gonna play, and then just do like a at least like an hour stream of playing that game. Um, and I don't think that would be that hard to set up. The only thing that kind of is preventing me from doing that right now is I don't have a perfect way to stream some of my older consoles at the moment. Like even PS3 is kind of a pain to stream because there's you have to do workarounds to stream PS3 because of like HDMI stuff. But I think it could be cool if I could like I think cuz if I remember right, so I'm using a what is this? A 4KX Elgato capture card, and that's one of the few that works with a Mac Studio because that's what I have. And so like the like Apple M series chips can be a little weird with if they want to work with like certain capture cards and stuff from Elgato. And so like, oh, so like I can't use like my old capture card. I don't think on this computer. So like, there's not an easy way for me to actually capture gameplay from older consoles. I think what I would need to do is I would need to invest in an upscaler to upscale the old like the video resolution that I'm getting from the older console up to at least 1080p if not 4K. And then it would be able I would be able to more easily stream pretty much everything. Because I think every other console that I have has the ability to do at least composite out. Um, so if I could do like get a upscaler that I could upscale composite or component to at least 1080p, and then I think I could also plug that into my Elgato and then stream older stuff from there. But I would need to see. But anyway, so the concept in general is just the idea of um, streaming, like picking a random game from my collection, digging it out, and then streaming that for however long. And I think that would be fun. It would also kind of force me to like actually pay attention to more of my collection, because I've said before, like it's mostly through my job that I've been able to get a lot of really cool games, because I have a really good discount and like access to a lot of things. Um, so like I've been able to get a lot of games for literal like cents on the dollar and stuff. Um, but that's part of the issue too lately in terms of like catching up with things. Is I've just accumulated so much stuff ever since I started working this job. Not only like video games, but movies and TV shows and books and CDs and just all the stuff that I like, which is nice. But also, it's just there's so much of it. Like I used to be somebody who could kind of remember what generally I had in my collection. Like very rarely would I not be able to remember if I already owned a game. Um, but now I've managed to accumulate so much stuff in such a relatively short amount of time that I actually can't remember sometimes if I own things or not. Which reminds me, give me 1 second, because I keep meaning to look and make sure of if I have a game, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look at that right now, before I forget. I found a copy of Lego Marvel 2, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, and I cannot for the life of me remember if I already own that or not. But I really enjoyed the first one, and I want to check if I do or not. So that is what I'm doing right now, is I'm checking my giant spreadsheet of games. Let's see here. Turns out that I do not. I have the first one, and I have Marvel Avengers. And do I have 2 copies of Marvel Avengers? Oh no! Oh my god! I didn't even realize that. So this is funny. This is something that I'm just noticing. So there's Lego Marvel Avengers, which is like the third Lego Marvel superhero game. And then there also is just Marvel Avengers, which was the game that came out that kind of like didn't do that well, but it was kind of interesting. Oh crap, I just realized I think I just accidentally signed out of my account. Hang on. I did not mean to do that. Although the stream should be fine, but I want to make sure that I'm like, you know, still live. There we go. Okay. Yes. We are still good. Okay. That is fixed, and I take the cat off the screen, and we are back to it. I'm so used to just signing out whenever I'm done with stuff like that. Am I back to it? Yeah, I think I am. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Time to Fortsetzen. Need to rebuy Quick Revive. Probably buy Juggernog also. And the other perks. I didn't even realize how many points I had accumulated already. A run that I would really like to do in Black Ops 2 Town, but just have never actually, like, I've never tried it exactly before, and I don't really know if it's even possible. But I think it'd be cool to go for, rather than like high rounds, go for high points in town, because once you kind of get yourself set up in town, like, to be honest, if you really think about Call of Duty Zombies, it mostly comes down to like budgeting. um to like be able to get yourself all the stuff you need as fast as possible. And I think it'd be cool to try sometime to do a run where I get, all my, like, myself all set up and everything, and then I aim specifically to get as many points as humanly possible. And that's like the only goal. It's not advancing rounds or anything. It is purely trying to get as many points as possible. Cause like I think I've gotten like 20,000 points or something before, but I'm really curious to see if it's possible to break the six-figure mark in terms of points, or even possibly get to 1 million. But I don't know. It's kind of tough to do. Hang on, give me 1 second. I know I just like took a break, but I need to go wipe my nose, so I will be right back once again. Okay, I'm right back once again. Uh, on my way to blow my nose, I walked by some of the books that I've bought lately. And like, I was somebody who didn't really like read that much for a long time. Which might sound kind of weird because, like, I did pretty good in school and stuff. But I never really read like outside of class. But now I've been getting a little bit into reading. Because like I feel like sometimes school can leave like a really sort of bad taste in people's mouths about reading, because there's a lot of really boring things that you've got to read when you're in like middle school and high school and college too, although it gets better in college. um but thought somebody had said something in the chat, got distracted. um but honestly, once you like are an adult, and you can kind of choose what you want to read, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. There's like so many interesting concepts that people have written books about and stuff. Um, yeah, there's a lot of good ones. There was like Julian Comstock, like I was talking about earlier. That's a pretty cool one. Um, trying to think of some other ones that I've accumulated lately that have been cool. Uh, I've bought some like manga and graphic novel stuff lately. That's kind of fun to read through, and also you can usually read through it really quickly. Like I read through the Five Nights at Freddy's graphic novel series like really quickly, and that was cool because Five Nights at Freddy's does have a pretty interesting lore, and that was a good way to kind of catch up on it without actually having to spend that much time on it. Um, and the Fazbear Frights and Tales from the Pizzaplex books, surprisingly good. Like, not gonna lie, like I'm in my 20s and I enjoyed those. They're not like the highest literature or anything, but they're actually pretty fun to read, and they are kind of spooky. um Trying to think of what else I read when I was in grad school for one of my projects. I actually, for my dissertation, actually I read the novelization of Alan Wake. That was really interesting to read, because that it's fascinating to see the way that they rewrote the game to work as a novel. I talked a lot about it in my dissertation, and it was just really interesting because there was a lot of scenes that they sort of rewrote to like work as a novel while still like maintaining what actually occurs in those scenes and stuff. And there were like aspects of the game that they novelized and stuff. I also read one of the novels from like the Division, because the Division has like actually I think like a handful of novels that are written in the Division universe, and those are really interesting. Because the Division is like an MMO, so there's story, but also like a large part of the game is interacting with other players, and like incredibly they like preserve that still in the novel, which I was really impressed. And also like the whole 1-to-1 scale of like New York City in the first game, that like the novel doesn't actually take place in New York City completely, but that whole idea of like a 1-to-1 scale is like still preserved too, which is really interesting. There's scenes that take place in like actual real life locations, and if you like, one of the things that I did in my dissertation was I took those scenes and I kind of mapped out what was being explained in the novel and compared it to like, is this a thing that is possible in real life? And it's like, yeah, actually, like the way that they map out the way characters travel throughout that novel is actually really realistic in terms of like like where things are located, and it's really impressive actually. Um, a novel that I've been a little bit on the lookout for is the novel of Quantum Break. I've heard that the novelization of Quantum Break is really interesting too, because Quantum Break has a lot of choices that you can make throughout it that can affect the story a lot. Um, and like, I guess that the novel presents a whole separate way that the story can go. Um, and I just think that's really interesting. Um, Quantum Break as a game, like I know that I don't think it like sold as well as Alan Wake, and it's kind of in a weird spot in the whole Remedy universe because of like I guess Microsoft actually owns the rights to it or whatever. Quantum Break is a really cool game though. Like I know the concept of it is not necessarily like it doesn't sound as interesting as Alan Wake at first because it's a little bit more, it's not as unique when you first hear about it because it's like, oh, time travel, that's been done tons of times. But actually playing through it, Remedy did like they put the whole like Remedy unique spin on time travel, and it's a really cool game. And if you haven't played it before, I would suggest playing it, especially if you like some of the other Remedy games. It's not very expensive. I think I got a copy for like $10, and I think it's priced similarly at most places, and I don't think it's particularly hard to find either. Um, yeah, and even though it's like not necessarily canon to the whole Remedy universe or whatever, Quantum Break has a lot of references to Alan Wake. Like a ton of references to Alan Wake. And as like a big fan of Alan Wake, that was really really cool to see in Quantum Break. Um, One thing though with Alan Wake, like, okay, like I know I'm kind of slightly switching games here, but in terms of Remedy games and stuff, I know Alan Wake 2 got really good reviews, but frankly, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I felt like it didn't really feel like the first game, and when I'm comparing like the various Remedy games, it feels weird to say this, but like, so Alan Wake. Well, actually, I'd put Alan Wake's American Nightmare first because the gameplay of that one is really good because they added more weapons and stuff. I'd put it like Alan Wake's American Nightmare, and then Alan Wake, and then actually Quantum Break, and then Alan Wake 2. I just, I don't know. Alan Wake 2 just didn't, like, it just didn't feel like it felt like it didn't feel like it followed up exactly, like sure enough it continued the story of Alan Wake, and it's pretty good and it's interesting and the graphics for it are beautiful, but like I don't know, it felt significantly limited compared to the first game in terms of like I guess explorable areas and like even weapon choices and stuff. um because I guess I guess that's on purpose because it was like a whole genre shift really, because it went from like thriller to straight up horror. But yeah, no, I don't know. I liked it, but it wasn't exactly how I expected it to go. And I still don't fully understand the whole Saga Anderson thing. Like I get what her purpose is in the story, but it just feels a little odd. Like I feel like the game in some ways focuses more on Saga than it does on Alan, despite being an Alan Wake sequel. Like I think Saga is a cool character, but I just didn't. I don't know. It's just like if I'm playing Alan Wake 2, I kind of want to see more of Alan, and Alan is in a lot of ways not as present. And there's the whole thing with Alex Casey. Um, in general, one of the issues that I had with Alan Wake 2 was I felt like it was too hard trying to pull a multiverse thing. There's too many characters in that game from everywhere. Because, like, so you've got Alan, right, from Alan Wake. And then you've also got Saga now, who's got a whole separate thing going on. And then you've also got characters from Control. And to be honest, I feel like that's where you could have stopped it, right? But then you also have stuff from Quantum Break getting pulled in, because even though it's like not by name, Tim Breaker is like, it's the same voice actor and like model as what's his name, Joyce from Quantum Break, and Mr. Door is also like related to Martin Hatch. So there's stuff with that, and then but the whole thing with Alex Casey and Max Payne, I just felt like it's weird because like now Remedy is remastering Max Payne, so it's like if they end up back in control of the Max Payne IP more so than Rockstar, like how, because Alex Casey is like the like non Max Payne that they have going on. I just don't really get what they'll do in the future with that. And I was also severely disappointed in the fact that there are no playable Alex Casey sections in Alan Wake 2, even in the DLC. Like, dude, you literally have like an extremely important character here, and we didn't even get to play as him once. There's one specific mission too in Alan Wake 2 where I thought for a second that I was going to be able to play as Alex Casey, but then you actually just end up playing Alan for a little bit. And I don't want to spoil it, but like it is a cool section, but it's like literally, why did you not have me play as Casey in that scene instead of Alan, you know? The DLC for Alan Wake 2 is pretty cool though. I liked that a lot. Because I got the physical version of it with like all the DLC and stuff. And I really liked the DLC with Rose. It was really funny. And like as somebody who works with books a lot, it was kind of funny to see like the tropes of like romance novels and stuff in there. And then I also really liked the coffee DLC with Jesse Faden from Control is funny, and it's interesting how it kind of summarizes the events of Control in a silly way. But I don't know, I just didn't. I guess I just kind of didn't get it. And then the DLC with Breaker though, I like that one too. That one was cool. Although I feel like there's still a lot to answer about like what exactly is going on with Breaker and Door in the whole Alan Wake 2 thing. Anyway though, I'm sick of talking about Alan Wake 2, so I'm gonna stop talking about Alan Wake. More related to the game at hand, Black Ops 6, played through that a while ago. I'm very curious to see what happens with Black Ops 7, assuming that that is the next one. I'm pretty sure I've said this theory before, but I'm almost certain that they're going to be trying to go like decade by decade until they reach up with Black Ops 2. So the next one, like, you know, Black Ops Cold War was in the 80s, Black Ops 6 90s. So I have a feeling Black Ops 7 or whatever it's called is going to be 2000s, and then 8 will be 2010s. and then it'll catch itself up to Black Ops 2, and then possibly they might continue going by decades again until they reach whatever the frig was going on in Black Ops 3. Um, I liked Black Ops 6's story though quite a bit because it felt like it actually finally started to kind of connect things. It started to like because Black Ops. How did I die from one hit? Um, Black Ops 2 explains the connection to Black Ops 1 pretty well in itself, I feel like. But Black Ops 3 leaves a lot to be desired in terms of the connection there. And I feel like Black Ops 6 shows some of the origins of some of the things that are happening in Black Ops 3. Um, with like the cradle and stuff. And I also kind of have a feeling that Black Ops 7 is going to be a really direct sequel to Black Ops 6. Because for one, if you really think back in time, the 90s and 2000s are quite similar. Um, sorry. But also, there's a lot of questions that Black Ops 6 kind of leaves unanswered, I feel like. Like Cold War, even though it introduced like a lot of characters and stuff, it kind of answered all of its own questions. But Black Ops 6 leaves a lot to be desired, I think, with like in terms of stuff that's like going on that you want an answer for. Um, in particular, I still don't really understand what the heck was going on with Case. Case is such a strange character when you really think about it because, like, so Black Ops 1 and 2 you're playing as like Mason or Woods or every now and again a random other character. Black Ops 3 you create your own character though, if I remember right. Black Ops 4 there's no single player. Cold War you create your own character again, but then now in Black Ops 6 they've jumped back to a specific character, with that being Case. Um and like Case is just really strange. Alongside the whole thing with that mission in Kentucky in Black Ops 6 with like the zombies and stuff, and like the cradle stuff, which I hope I'm not spoiling that much, but I think everybody kind of knows about the weird zombie mission. Um, Alongside that though, there's another mission where you can drive vehicles and you can drive those in the third person, and so you should be able to see Case, and yet Case is like completely covered, like you can't see his face or anything or like even his hands. Like Case is like I feel like not that many people have talked about just how strange of a character Case actually is and how little about him is explained. And I know that there's theories that Case actually might be Bell, like from Cold War. I don't really think so though. I think he's a new character, but I think he's a character that has a lot to still be explained. And I think Black Ops 7 might do more of that because it's not that weird for a character from the 90s to still be active in like the 2000s or whatever. Um, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream there because I'm very tired. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was nice to do a little stream, even though it's like a really awkward hour. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in other stuff in the future.